Hey everyone, DisThunder here, and today we're going to do a kind of quick unboxing and overview style review for the Mezco 112 Collective Doc Savage. Been pretty excited to take a look at this one. Got a lot of history with Doc Savage. First thing I think I read with him I'm aware of him from his pop culture roots, but I think it was the first wave book that DC did a few years back that brought him to my attention. So I've been looking forward to this. Here is the outside of the box, and I'll be damned if that's not a good-looking box. Makes me wish I had some more options for some kind of ancient ruins for display and playset purposes. Back of the box showing the many accessories, more than I expected, actually. He's a little more loaded out than I anticipated. Here is what's included in its two trays with the figure, the extra hands, the extra heads, the accessories, the display stand. Got a bag, some fire effects, looks like some grenades. Everything an adventurer needs. So out of the box, this guy has a pretty impressive stance. Like, he's got a good overall presence and feel. I think maybe I was expecting him to be just a tad bit bigger, but he's by no means a small figure. When we do this, I'm sure I'll get that more clear when we start doing comparisons. He has 4 included heads, 3 of which are, they're flocked, which I didn't think all 3 of these would be. Kind of a minimal difference in expression between them. He's got the classic pulp head on the left, and then you've got these 3 options. The one on the right seems to be slightly older, I guess, than the second one, and then the scowl in the middle. But yeah, as you can see, all 3 of those heads are flocked, and it actually works pretty well. Let's take a little closer look at those accessories while they're still in the tray here. Here are his weapons. There are the 2 bracelets on top there. Got his pistol with its snail drum magazines, knife and sheath, and it looks like a half-face gas mask with a couple straps on it. Bear with me for a second here. I'm trying to get to the assaulter rig vest and the tattered shirt. They're underneath the display stand in that second tray. I just figured I'd spare you doing that on camera since it's not very exciting. There is the tattered shirt. You can see here it's got a torn sleeve and an elastic to wrap around the bottom. We'll get into that later. Here's the assaulter rig vest. Has a Velcro attachment in the front, and there's a little bit of wire in that holster strap to help secure his pistol. And then the second tray has, I think it's a periscope. Looks like a grappling hook, some grenades, like a smoke grenade and an incendiary grenade. And I think that's a lantern, if I remember right there in the middle. I'm not 100% on that, but you can use your imagination. Almost forgot all about this. There are 2 hidden compartments in his boot heels. The one here on his right boot looks like maybe some antidote or anti-venom, something like that, something medical maybe. And then on the other, we have, looks like, I think it's probably like a lockpick kit is what it looks like to me. But that's just a cool little detail that I almost completely overlooked. Good thing it was on the display. Lastly, here are some green lens goggles, kind of similar to what we got like with the Vigilante upgrade kit, fit on any of the heads included. And here is Doc Savage all kitted up with gas mask, goggles, and assaulter vest. I still don't know if that's a lantern or not. I'm going to pretend it's a communicator for the sake of these pictures, because why not? You can do whatever you want, right? Let's get a little closer there. You can see how the gas mask and the goggles are, as you already are well aware, separate pieces. I like the style of this. It's kind of got that classic World War I almost bag style gas mask, which is appropriate considering the time frame. Here's a little closer shot at his bracelets. This one on his left bracelet looks somewhat chronograph inspired. It has a couple of little cool greebles on it. This one on his right arm could be almost like a portable radar or a homing device, beacon, something like that. Both are really nicely painted, though. I'm always impressed at the teeny details they're able to paint like cleanly, because I can't paint close details for shit. And then here's just a shot of the assaulter vest. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the pockets to do anything for me. I think they're just for decoration. Although I think if you really wanted to, those smaller grenades could probably fit in there. Just don't know how you're going to get them back out. Here's a nice shot of his very Flash Gordon-y looking automatic pistol with its snail drum magazine. Only complaint I have there is that I kind of wish he had a regular, like a stick mag to stick in there too, so that would be a little easier to fit in the vest. But on the back of the vest, you can put the knife and sheath through these 2 little leather loops in the back, and it fits in there pretty snugly and stays in place. He also comes with 2 firing effects of the pistol. These are pieces we've seen many times before. These just have a slightly more kind of a yellow goldish tinge paint to them. Now, getting to the fun part. To change out his shirt, took all of his gear off, you're going to have to get a hold of his boots like so. Just kind of give them a twist. I think they're just on like a mushroom peg. Just kind of work them till they pop loose like so. Yeah, there you go. You can see it's just kind of a clean mushroom peg under there. We're going to do the same thing now to the right boot. Easy enough. Coming up here to the to the belt, there is somewhere on here that's going to have a tab. I'm not quite sure. Okay, I think I pulled the wrong piece out here. I don't know if that's where you need to pull it at. I feel like it's where these two buttons are, is where I should be grabbing. And I might have cocked that up. But anyway, so, you know, remove the pants like you would remove a pair of pants. Bit of a tight fit, but they come off. Then undo the Velcro here on the shirt. You can see the elastic that's looped between his legs there. I took the hands off and the bracelets off and all that just to make this a little bit easier because, you know, this is kind of what I do for customizing. You know, less parts you have to fight with, the better, obviously. And then come down here. It seems like it's looped over that thigh joint, so I just got to get up over that ball socket. And there you go. Now he's ready to change out. So taking the tattered shirt here, same idea. Just going to take the elastic, feed it through his leg, and then feed through the open hole there on both sides. Again, it's surprisingly kind of a tight fit. You don't want to put it through the wrong hole because he's got some tattered holes in there. So that, yeah, get that over the shoulder where it needs to be, and it fits pretty well. Get it across his big ass shoulders there. And then just bring it together in the middle with the Velcro. Now this, you probably could just like wrap this sleeve part around him, kind of like that. But for sake of brevity, I'm just going to put it on the cuff onto his wrist just so we can get him put back together, because the longer I'm doing this on camera, the more awkward I'm feeling. So that's the shirt. Pretty much what you'd expect, right? It's a cool effect. It's nice to not have to do this to your figure, have it come with a separate one so you don't have to lose a good shirt. And yeah, now you can see, so that's where you need to remove it at. I accidentally pulled the tab where it was glued in, so when I get done off camera, I'm going to put that back together. But that's where you're supposed to untab the belt at, and then you can feed it back through these belt loops if you undo it, because they're just loops of thread. They're not that bad. But, you know, this is why you should always at least make an attempt to read the directions, you guys. I'm also noticing I think there's some Velcro in the front of his fly that would have made that a little easier. But you get the idea. Quick time lapse. I put him back to his factory settings and re-glued that piece of belt that I cocked up. Let's go over the articulation. So a lot of it you can actually see on this figure. You can see the double jointed neck. The lower joint is not as forgiving as some of the other figures we've gotten recently, but the upper joint gives plenty of range. He's got good pivot, good swivel, no problems there. You can see the joints there, just it's a little tight and kind of thick. You've got a ball jointed shoulder, no butterfly joint that I can tell. A good range in and out. The shirt, the regular shirt, actually both shirts don't really bother the articulation. Now, I noticed on this shoulder, on this side, it was a little tight like a detent. It kind of popped a couple times, but as I've worked it, it seems to be fine. You can see here he has the double ab joint with actually a really good range, especially back. That surprised me. That's not even engaging the lower joint there. And then you've got the usual ball jointed hips. You've got pretty good range outward and forward thanks to the pilot pants. And then not too bad for the double jointed knee. I think a lot of that's just the length of the boot, kind of makes it hard to get any tighter in. But there's also a very nice boot swivel on the bottom of those riding boots. I like the style of those, and I like the overall feel of them too. But yeah, pretty much standard articulation for a good sized Mezco guy. Burning through some size comparisons here quickly. Here he is with Indiana Jones, fellow adventurer and fellow pulp hero, or pulp-inspired hero. Actually, Doc Savage is really the real deal, isn't he? Because he was made concurrently. But like I said, he's not quite as big as I expected him to be. Here he is with, this is basically just a Sunday night with a different costume on. He is a bit taller than this Batman, and obviously a bit broader. I don't know, I kind of thought he might be more tankish. That might be something we see more with the Conan figure, and like Marv maybe later this year. Here he is with my custom Rocketeer and Indiana Jones once again. This makes for a nice little pulp hero shelf, I think. And here he is, the Supreme Knight Batman, who, despite sharing no parts with, is very similar in build and height to. I think these two are probably the closest parallels of my existing collection that I've got down here to compare with. And then lastly, here he is with Mezco Duke, who he is once again a little taller than and a significant amount broader than. I think overall, I mean, hard to really gauge a scale on this because I don't think these two characters are occupied the same space, but I think this works fine. And I think that's going to pretty much cover the unboxing and review overview kind of thing we're doing here. I prefer my more traditional style of review. I don't think people are that committed to my reviews one way or the other, to be honest. But I kind of prefer doing the slideshow. Although I kind of hybrided them here. I tried to take some more still shots while I was unboxing so that I had some stuff to work with. And I think it worked out okay. I mostly wanted to look at this figure with you guys, kind of get to experience it as I'm opening it. Just, I don't know. There's something kind of fun about doing that, you know, not that we all get to hang out or anything, but it's kind of like we get to hang out, right? I think that's why we watch reviews and stuff of people opening toys we already own. But as far as a figure goes, I think Doc Savage is pretty damn good. I'm enjoying seeing this kind of rise in pulp heroes through the 112 Collective. And I don't know who's left that we would need. Maybe a Phantom, Spirit maybe? I don't know who else you want to go with, but yeah, I'm sure there's room for some more pulp characters on here. So just as a straight across here, great figure, really good accessories, clever use of new parts and interchangeable pieces, great details, and surprisingly good flocking. There's some good flocking work going on with this guy. So thank you to Mezco Toyz. Appreciate you guys helping me get a figure 2 review for the channel. And thanks to you guys for watching the review. Hopefully it was kind of informative. And yeah, I enjoyed opening up and going through with you guys. So see you in the next one.